up close and personal. You know, a
Uh-huh.
lot of times you work on campaigns, and you know you do a specific job
Right,
for the
right.
candidate. And but it was just a blessing to be around you, to be able to work with you, to hang out with you, to hear you, to learn from you. And so that to me was priceless. It really was.
Well, it was very mutual. You were an incredible mentor to every single person on the team.
Mm,
And not just because of your hard work ethic and your skills, but your spirit and your passion for our city and for people and your love. And so all of that in combination, we were just so grateful. I was personally blessed by you and intend to continue to be personally blessed for you by you. For as long as you may live. No, but it was a really incredible. And what I love about it is we were the same in public
mm-hmm.
as we were behind closed doors.
Right.
And that wasn't easy, right? Like we
Right.
had to
Right.
really work at that. And we put significant energy into making sure that whatever I was saying or anybody was saying about me was something that was reflected in every interaction that anybody had with, a pretty big team of volunteers that were very passionate. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really grateful to everyone who contributed. And just as I've been making the calls, I started my callbacks. Just for those who may be listening who I owe a call, thank you for the calls and texts. I started my call back with those who have been, really working very hard on the campaign, and I'm sort of working my way out because every hour that was worked was really precious to us, and everybody gave their whole heart to whatever capacity they had. And so I'm just excited to call and encourage everyone to keep going.
Thank you. I believe we have a caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. People Power with Priscilla.
Good morning, my sisters. How are we this morning? God rising.
Good morning,
Good
brother T.
morning. Excellent.
How are
Excellent.
you?
All right, all righty. Sister, I love you. Just because that door closed, there's always doors going to be open for you. And
Thank you, my
I'm
brother.
always there for you. You are part of Mission Hill. You are part of our family. And we know there's bigger things coming. We don't want you to stop. Miss Pearl's going to call you if she got something for you.
Okay. I love
Yeah,
me
yeah.
some Miss Pearl.
Yeah. You're not done yet. You're not done yet. This was just a hiccup. That's going to be cleared up. Because I just don't want you to stop doing what you're doing, because God has definitely gave you a gift to inspire and help. These young kids out here, these elderlies out here that really, really need the help and support that you have genuinely gave during the time as you were state rep. And some people, in Mattapan and Dorchester, didn't really know on what they really just missed out on. But they're going to know, because there's bigger things that's coming, and we're going to make sure that, you stay in the light, because like I always say, there's bigger things that's coming. It's coming. Maybe this is just not the seat that God has meant for you, but there's bigger things coming, and I'm not going to leave you, and I'm not going to forget you. I'm always there, because you're family now, and you are much loved, especially with the Williams family, especially with my outstanding family, especially with my mission family. You're loved, and we love you dearly. And we're not giving up on you. I just found out that there was some behind the scenes people behind the scenes, and that person can't never ever 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 call me, even though we grew up together. He can never ever 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 call me for anything, because despite and everything else that he did, that I just found out that but that's okay, because God got his hand in it.
Yes,
With his
right.
hands in it, there's nothing that nobody can do.
That's right.
Well,
That's right.
thank you, Tan. You know I love you back. Mission Hill forever. That's how we roll.
That's right. That's right. We're not stopping. We're not stopping. But you
No,
know what?
no.
So we're just gonna get you out into the community.
Mhm.
Everybody gonna know Nika now. Listen,
Mhm.
okay, just because I ran and I lost, I'm still here. And that's why what, and that's what I can say about my campaign and what I did, and that's how I came to meet Pam, who also helped on the campaign,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the
Pam was
ladies in
great.
Franklin Field and everywhere else.
Yep, yep,
Yeah.
yep.
They said, you are still here even though you lost. I
Yeah.
said, because this job is bigger than
Yeah.
just a campaign.
Yeah.
I
Right.
don't talk just to be talking that of the work that I do. I show you what the work I do.
Right.
I
Action
don't
speaks
need
louder
to
than
have a
words.
title to
Yeah.
do the work. I have the best title ever, and that's a child of God.
Yeah. That's true.
Amen.
That's true.
Amen.
That's when you can tell that people are really for the community is when they lose races and they still stay in the community. I've seen a number of people who have ran races, and once they lose, that's it. You don't see them no more to the next election. But
Yeah.
it's very important because having been real close to this campaign, and you see some of the things that were said and done, it kind of gets you discourage you in a way.
Mm.
But we know that it's like Terrence just said, it's bigger than any of us. It's bigger. It's something that God has in plan. It's God's plan. And so I like I said, I was truly blessed. It's funny because me and the squad were talking yesterday, and it was like, oh my God, what are we gonna do? We don't have nothing to do. But trust me, I already got ideas in the
All
works.
right.
I just it's a mission. I feel like it's a mission, it's a calling, and it's also a passion to be out here, because I realize that you don't have to be an elected official to get work done
Right.
in this city. It's
Right.
harder and it's tougher, but if you just keep knocking at the door and keep knocking at the door, eventually it's going to get open, because they're
That's
going to get
right.
tired of you knocking.
I'm gonna sneeze you up.
God bless you.
Thank you.
God, it
Excuse
was
me.
it was a blessing to meet your family.
Oh, wasn't it fun
Oh
to
my
have them
God,
up?
your mother, your father, your sisters, your brother. It was your nieces and nephews. It was so much
I
fun.
didn't
Oh,
get
my
to meet
nephews
the
were so cute.
family.
Oh.
Oh, Terrence, you didn't get to?
No, listen, hold on, because I gotta say this, because I called Russell and I called the sheriff. Now I'm gonna tell you, somebody owed me a gift card to a massage parlor, 'cause I was out there from 6:50 in the morning to 8:30 at night, and my back and feet were killing me.
I think we could hook you up.
Nah, I'm good. I'm good. I just had to say that. I tell them, listen, I'm good, because I tell people all the time. This is the reason why I be out there. If I'm out there that long for candidates, that means I believe in them, I love them, and I trust with their work.
Right.
And that's what I tell folks. If you believe in your candidate, then that's the work that you have to do.
Yes, sir.
They're asking you to help them stay in order to keep a job so they can help you. If they're not there, then who's going to help you? Because I used to tell these young, some of these elders and young folks, and they'd be like, oh, well, this person said, I said, see, that's all hearsay. But can you call them for if you have a problem? Will they reach out to you? Because when I ran, I always tell folks, you listen, right? If they're an incumbent, I want you to call their office and tell them you got a problem. And you call me back and let me know when they get back in touch with you, and everything else. I had a couple people, they called me back and said, listen, I called this candidate last week, and I'm still waiting for a call back.
We
That's
got
a
another
problem.
caller. Hold on, T. I think we got another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Priscilla. This is Bill Wright. How are you?
I'm good, Bill. How you doing?
Good morning, Representative Relegado.
Good morning, Bill Wright. It's so good to hear your voice. Thank you for all of your mentoring and your work on our team. You inspired a lot of people.
Well, that's nice to hear. But I wanted to call this morning just to say that in my assessment, I believe that you were the best candidate for the state senate position at this particular point in time. And I do hope, as others are saying, that you do not get discouraged by not having won at this point. And we all know, as people are saying, there are many other ways to serve in the meantime.
Oh, thank you for that. I'm not discouraged. I ran in obedience to God, and I was obedient to God the whole time, even though it was very difficult. And so this 9-10 months, I felt more focused and more guided in the Holy Spirit than at any time in my life, without any kind of a break in that. And that was something I didn't know I was capable of, And so God really grew me, and we were able to do that as a team, even with many people who had different faiths or no faith in God, and to hold those values, and to stay fixed on people first, no matter what. It was really powerful, and I think that I feel victorious because of that. I was obedient to my calling, and I will continue to do that with my new understanding of not only what I'm capable of, but what the city is capable of, and all of her residents. So, there is a time for grieving, and I know many people are grieving. I myself am filled with gratitude, and I know that God always had. The idea of big things for me, y'all know me, like big, little, it doesn't really matter the size of it, just that I'm where I'm supposed to be. And I feel very strong confirmation of that right now, just as I have for the last 9 months. So everybody associated with this team, I think, can move forward knowing that what we built together was something bigger than us and for the city. And we don't have to hold to any of the kind of, a couple people, not you, Bill, but have mentioned some of the disappointments. But if we think about it, life is full of disappointments. It's always about, what are we going to focus on? Are we going to focus on the disappointments, or are we going to learn from them and focus on the path that's ahead and continuing to bring the light? And you are a great example of that, Bill. Mm-hmm. There was no day that I saw you or even heard about you. Every age person, there was a young man around 20 or 21, and older people over 70. Wow, that Bill Wright, I never knew. And that's just our city. That's what we're like. And so be encouraged too. I'm encouraged. When I say I'm not a status seeker or position seeker, it's true. So that's why I can't be. I'm sad and disappointed for our city in that we made a good choice here, but across the board in the state, we didn't always make that extraordinary choice where we're ready for real transformation and change. And a lot of people are ready. A lot of the leaders across the city, whether they're leading on the street or leading in an institution, are ready to do something very different. And while we didn't really elect that, there are many exciting things that we can focus on in this race and going forward. And so I hope people will continue to bring that positive energy, but the truth as well. And so that's going to be helpful going forward.
Great. I believe we have another caller. Go ahead, Bill.
You mentioned that it's the race, and please maintain the mentality and the understanding that it's a marathon, not a 100-yard dash.
Yeah, it's life, isn't it?
Yes. I believe we have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hello.
Good morning.
I'm Kathy from Mattapan.
Hi, Kathy.
And Nikia, I just want you to know that you're a phenomenal woman.
Thank
you have the educational experience to take the city to a much higher level. I'm really baffled how this candidate was chosen. The woman has been selected to be in this position for 4 years.
No, 2.
2?
Yeah, just 2.
Just 2?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
2 years go by pretty quick, too.
They do. So keep up the good work and the good fight, because you can do this. Don't let this, dismay you. You have what it takes to get things done. We don't need the kind of candidate that we have that has been selected. She's, partying and drinking and using the N word, which I think is very unfortunate that we have a person like this representing us for the next 2 years. But I want you to continue to pursue your political pursuits and never give up, because you're going to win one day. Just keep up the good work. Praise God for you.
I really appreciate your encouragement and your support, sister. I'm not one to give up, and the prize that my eye is on isn't a political position. And so I think that I learned a lot about, so what was our vision? What is our vision? Our vision is that Black Boston is destined to lead not only the city, but the Commonwealth and the nation. That our capacity to do collective economics, our capacity to understand how to build and amass social and political capital needs a seat in every aspect of government and every aspect of community. And that's what's missing, not only from Justice for Us, but for Justice for All. And, across the campaign, we talked about many specific examples of that, from financing to the criminal legal system. And we'll continue to have those conversations. And so what I will be seeking for going forward is to continue to see where God is doing that work and to be active in that space. And I did see a lot of people awaken through our campaign, either because they're already thinking like that and doing that work to build Black political and economic and social power, and they were awakened to the idea that, there's people all across the city thinking like me. Or some people that was a seed planted, and they were like, yes, that is our destiny. It's not just about me getting out of my personal situation or getting personal favors or getting some cash or even being able to buy a house. I want to invest. I want to have many properties, or I want to have many businesses, or I want to enable other people to do that, or I want to be on the streets in a way that's meaningful and bringing people out, or whatever my dream or passion is, fashion, food. I have a community that understands better than our current sitting government how to do it. So we're going to be sending people into government who understand how to transform it versus to be popular in it or to be strong in the way that it is now, but understand how to dismantle and rebuild. And so I've done that my whole life, sis, and I'm going to keep doing that. Do not worry. I don't get dismayed. I don't lose often, to be honest, but just things in general. But I don't get dismayed when I lose. Like I'm a former athlete. You don't win everything, even a champion.
That's right.
And I'm okay with that, because we were victorious. We left it all on the court, so to speak. And the community said resoundingly, we love the message that Liz has, which is an inspiring message. Let's not forget that. That message that, how she says that, like a kid that grew up right here in Roxbury can lead the Senate. And that's an inspiring message. And so we got to help make sure that that's successful. I know people are thinking, I'm just going to put it out there because I'm a blunt person, are you going to run against Liz? Somebody got to run against her. I would encourage us to think about making Liz successful at the things that we want to see happen. And if she is able to do that, we will continue to support her forever. And if we feel that she's falling short, we'll do the same thing that we do with everyone, the same thing that was done with me. We'll say, no, this isn't what we want. We want something else. But we don't have to take being a champion for what our vision was to mean that we have to be negative about somebody else's vision. And that was a core part of what our whole campaign was about. But nevertheless, I do hear what you're saying and the concerns. And if I didn't have them, I wouldn't have run. Not necessarily the ones you listed, but other ones. And everybody's going to have concerns about every candidate. But once they win, we're full on behind them. And that's how we got to be in the Black community, or we will just keep perpetuating the same kinds of things that have been harming us going forward.
That's so true.
I appreciate your words.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for calling in, Kathy. We appreciate it.
Sure do.
We have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, good morning, good morning.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. This is Reverend Minyard Culpepper.
Hey,
Hey,
Pastor
Rev.
Pepper. How are you?
Good trouble, good trouble.
Good trouble. And I'm still going to make good trouble. Even though I didn't win the election, it doesn't mean that I'm not going to do what I've always been doing. And
hmm
so I've been working hard, making good trouble. Going to keep making good trouble because when we make good trouble, we get good results. I talked to Liz Miranda this morning. We had a good conversation. I told her I support her 100%. We had a great conversation. Liz and I had a lot of fun on the campaign. So she would call me, "Hey, Culpepper." And then she said, "Culpepper, we're 1 and 2 on this in that poll." And and she said we're both from Roxbury. And so we had a good time. Had a good time with Nika. She called me Rev, and Diane talked to me like I was her brother, Minyard, and it was a good time. James is my brother. And here's, for me, even though I lost the election, in my opinion, the Lord won. Because I talked to more people about Christ in the church. People had me praying for them. I'm out on the campaign trail trying to get votes. People just said, just pray for me now. And so I prayed for them right there. And so when I look at my run, I was running to be elected to the Senate, but I never stopped running for the Lord. And so, I'll be in church Sunday morning in the pulpit. Who knows when I'm going to preach. But the other thing about it is, folks said I'm coming to church that I never knew. They said, "Where's the church?" I'm coming to the church. So I may have lost the election, but the Lord won. And I think it's significant that people saw me and reached out to me. I got a message from Governor Patrick this morning. He texted me and said, "Look, you ran an honorable race. He said, stay in the fray." Yesterday morning, one of the first calls I got was from Senator Warren. And she thought I would feel bad about losing. I don't feel great about it. I think we ran a good race. I think we were in there. Diane and I talked. We knew that we were going to split that vote. We knew that it was going to hurt both of us. We knew that. We talked. And we talked yesterday about it. But she said I wasn't pulling out. And she said, "I know you weren't pulling out." And so from the perspective of winning, I think the community wins. Because I think if everyone continues to do what they ran on and what they were doing before they ran, we can really bring resources to the community that we've been lacking for many years. And all of y'all know that, I'm going to keep feeding folks. I'm going to keep working with the young folks. And I pray we can extend that Charter Park Peace Program for the young folks that are caught involved year-round. And I'll continue to house folks, praying about how the Lord would have me. By the way, I just rode by one of my signs. I'm telling you, that sign looks so good. But we'll continue to build houses and house folks. That's what my career and my life has been dedicated to, putting roofs over folks' heads. So I feel inspired to be able to run a good, clean campaign. I feel good about my campaign staff. They ran a good, clean campaign. The voters, I thank all of the voters, over 3,000 voters. I'm on a high this morning. I know a lot of folks that supported me are disappointed, but they ought not be disappointed because it's not about a title, it's about the work. It's about getting the work done. Like I said on the campaign trail, I've been getting the work done, and I'm not going to stop getting the work done. I'll keep getting the work done. I may not have the title of state senator, but titles to me have never been significant in life. It's been about getting the work done. And so I plan to continue to get the work done. I thank you all for having me, giving me a minute to speak. But Sunday morning, I'll be in pulpit of Pleasant Hill Baptist Church preaching. I know this will be a sermon that I will put my heart and soul into like never before. But I thank all of the folks that supported me. God bless you, and continue to keep me in your prayers.
God bless you, sir.
God
Bye-bye.
bless you, Pastor Culpepper. I wanted to ask you, Pastor Culpepper, that building that's next to yours, your church, Pleasant Hill Baptist, you all own that building, correct? I see there's a nice mirage on it. What are your plans for that building?
We've got a developer, and in fact, New Estra, we met with them 2 weeks ago. They're going to partner with us on getting that building done. We've had developers in the past that didn't work out. We needed someone with the community's interest at heart. So we're going to get that building done. Now that I couldn't do anything with the building because I was regional counsel at HUD, and as a HUD regional counsel, I couldn't touch it. I couldn't be involved in it. But now that I'm free from HUD, I'm all in, and we're going to get it done. We've been talking with the city and the state. Now we've got a new mayor. I know she'll be 100% behind us. We'll have a new governor. Mark Healy and I worked together on cases when she was assistant attorney general. As regional counsel at HUD, we did fair housing cases together. We've known each other for a long time. So I expect to have a strong relationship with her. And that building, when we finish with it, is really going to light up Humboldt Avenue. It's going to be something special.
What is it going to be? What are you going to do with the building, Pastor?
We're going to house folks.
Okay.
We're going to do what I've been doing all of my career. We're going to house folks. We want to put a small community center in there. The young folks in the area don't have a place for a community center. Mm-hmm. That's why we had the Charter Park Peace Program in the park. So the prayer is that we can give them a place to go in the winter and bring some training programs in there, bring some educational programs in there, bring some spiritual programs in there, and it will be a resource for the community that we just don't have in that area right now.
That sounds beautiful.
So, I've got big plans for that building. Yeah, and, when we have a groundbreaking, y'all come on down.
All right, just let us know.
Make sure we get the date.
Yeah, maybe we can get you on, Pastor Culpepper, to talk about your plans.
Okay. yeah, please.
We can get you in the studio.
It's not just that building that we have plans for. We're going to do other kinds of programs to push the homeless. I talked about places like Franklin Field and Mildred Haley going back to tenant ownership. There's a way to do that. And we're really going to push the Section 8 homeownership program folks to Section 8. We don't want them moving out to Brockton and Taunton. We want to help them buy a home right here in the city of Boston with their Section 8 certificate. So the things that I talked about on the campaign trail were things that are real, that are doable, that will help stabilize gentrification, and folks won't have to run out of the city because they've got a Section 8 that is running out.
Fortunately, Section 8 has a program that enables people to do home ownership with that. And so I hope that folks will be hearing your message and really taking advantage of what we've already got in place. That.
When I was at HUD, we encouraged the BHA to expand that program and to educate and to really push it. They really didn't push it. Yeah, there's been the program sitting there, but I want to push it so that everybody with a Section 8 that wants to buy a home will be educated on it, and I'm going to press Senator-elect Miranda to set up a down payment assistance grant program, because that's one of the biggest impediments for folks with a Section 8 that want to buy a home, being able to save the down payment. So what I said when I was running is that I, as state senator, I would create a down payment assistance grant, not a loan, a down payment assistance grant. That will help Section 8 voucher holders buy a home without having to try and scrape up the money for a down payment.
Yeah, fortunately that exists too. And, the Black and Latino Caucus, really pushed for an increase of $60 million for home ownership purchases. And a good chunk of that went there. And I have heard the mayor, and I'm sure the incoming governor will continue, because even the outgoing Republican governor was increasing home buyer assistance.
They're
No,
not.
there
They're
are
not grants.
grants, and so I think your point is exactly right, and I think everybody's on that same page. And so what we need to see now is the follow through on it, because all of those plans were made in 2022 and those monies were allocated. And so hopefully, like I've said, I'm going to continue to say, 2023 is going to be the hardest, best year, and hardest because we have a lot of resources that take effort and strategy and listening and collaboration and coalition building to make sure they go to the right places. And best because we will have those types of collaboration and coalition building and making sure my role, one thing I know I'm going to continue to do is I'm going to continue to grow the ability of our everyday residents to understand what's going on inside of the State House, so that they're not, saying, oh, here's an idea I have, without realizing, oh, that idea is going on. What's the reason that you don't know about it? What's the reason that you're not benefiting from it? And that's when we meet what we mean when we say bridging the voice and the power of the people to the State House. Most of the things we want to happen already exist. They are just benefiting other people than us. And so the question becomes, what are we going to do to track the gaps and to fill those gaps in, but then to go further and build greater investment in our communities? And I think when the people are armed with the knowledge and understanding of what exists and really understand how to leverage it, not just with ideas, but with information and facts, and understand how to push that forward, whether they might be in high school or a retiree or anywhere in between, we're going to be able to make sure that those resources are equitably distributed to us.
Let me just say this before I get off this call with regard to the Section 8. That's a HUD, a Voucher 8 program. We understand the significance of the Voucher 8. The programs that you are talking about have not been getting to the people that need them the most.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to work hard, make good trouble, stir up some things if I have to make sure folks get that down payment assistance grant that they need to buy a home. Folks want to buy a home. They don't want to move to Brockton. They really don't want to move to Taunton. If they can find a place here in Boston to buy a home, everyone's been talking about Section 8 home ownership. They haven't been doing Section 8 home ownership. If you can find one person in Boston that has found a home, one person of color with a Section 8 home ownership, I'll stand up with you. I intend to make sure, not that folks know about it, but that they receive the resources. And that's what's significant. Talking the talk is one thing, but I mean folks need to have the resources in their hands so that they can go out, purchase a home.
That's
with
right.
Section 8 certificates.
Well,
I understand every bit about that Section 8 voucher. I watched it over for years. And I don't know who you said had a program. The DHA, we pushed them. It's really a program to help folks one by one buy a home with Section 8 vouchers. And I guarantee you, we'll see the number of folks that use that voucher to buy a home, because we'll walk hand in hand with them to make sure they get that down payment assistance grant that they haven't been getting.
Well, Reverend, thank you so much for calling.
Thank you,
you
Rev.
for also for running. And so, we look forward to working, with you, working, with Senator Diane. Former Senator Diane. And,
No.
That's fair. That's Senator. She's,
yeah.
That's how we do the titles. Ambassador, Senator. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
Yeah.
and we're definitely looking forward to working with our Senator-elect Liz Miranda. So, it like Nika said, 2023 is gonna be good, bad. We're gonna work hard. We still are gonna stay in the fight because we have no choice but to stay in the fight, because we have to work with our community and help our community to the best of our ability, whether we're in office or out of office. And that's why the theme of my show, People Power with Priscilla, is we are the people and we have the power. And we have to learn how to work together to exercise our power so we can get the resources that are due us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm grateful and thankful to be here. I'm thankful that Pastor still let me have my radio station, my radio show. And I try to bring people on, community people, elected officials, business owners, so that they can know about the things that are going on. Because, as you know, the Bible tells us my people perish for the lack of knowledge, and if we're not getting the information that we need, then we don't know. And so it's definitely time for change. We're going to have a woman governor and a woman lieutenant governor. We are going to have a black woman attorney general. I mean, things are definitely changing. Change is coming, and we can't stop it, but we just have to continue to work together, and we have to continue to remember to love one another, and don't be, and collaborate. Now, don't be in competition all the time. Let's collaborate. We all have there's a lot of people in Boston have great minds. There's a lot of things that we can do together. And so that's what it's about.
That's a good word. That's a good word, Pastor Priscilla.
Is this Priscilla?
Yes, you don't know this my show?
I didn't know this.
Who do you think you was talking to? This my show, People Power with Priscilla, every
I
Thursday.
wasn't sure.
Hold on.
Priscilla.
We have another caller. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi, this is Corinne, just calling in to say hello to everyone.
Hey, squad.
And to, I just have a comment. I am just full in knowing that we had such a great time, and it was an honor to work with you, Rep. El Ugato, on your campaign. I always speak the truth, and I will say that we ran a very clean and respectful, godly campaign. That is the truth. And we all know that. But I just had a question for you. I know that you did extensive research with, I think it was Boston University, on land.
Yeah.
I'm not one for pushing all these subsidized programs. I know we need them in certain areas, but I think we need to think beyond that, and we should be thinking about how we can build equity and build generational wealth through obtaining land without attachments to them. So can you tell me what your plan is with that project and that data that you have on all of the land that you identified in Massachusetts, please?
Yeah, thank you, Corinne. So, listeners, what Corinne is talking about is that we can't house everybody in the Commonwealth who needs it. Right now, 4 out of 5 people who need affordable housing have it. And we're moving towards 3 out of 4, which is a better number than 4 out of 5. But to get 4 out of 4, 5 out of 5, we need more than cash programs, because there's not enough cash for all those people. And when we want to build generational wealth and make sure that housing of people creates either immediate or longer term opportunities for home ownership, we need 3 different things. So we need to have actual units for people to move into, which is a struggle in Boston. It doesn't matter how much cash you have to dole out if there's not anywhere for them to move into in the city. We need to make sure that we're controlling the existing costs so it's not skyrocketing. But we also need to find creative financing opportunities, right? So listeners right now, that if you go try to get a mortgage and you don't have any cash and you don't have any collateral, then you can't get that mortgage. If you have a lot of cash right now, but you can't show the ability to pay, you can't get that. It depends on the interest rate, a lot of things. But what happens is, if you have another property, whether that's land, whether that's a house, you can use that equity in that property, as many listeners will know. And the kids, if this is the first time you're hearing that, start thinking about it now, because people do this when they're 18 years old. Mm-hmm. If you can get a little bit of land and build equity, that means whatever you paid for it, it becomes more valuable than what you paid. Then you can use that to get a loan, and then you can get a second property, right? Now the state is in that situation, but we don't do that. So the state has $8 billion of approximately land. That's a conservative estimate. And right now the state doesn't track the value of that land well, which is why I had to work over 3 years with students and professors at Boston University to just get that strong estimate. Conservative estimate means it's actually worth more, but we don't want to overstate it, so we understate it a little bit. And then within that, there's over $1 billion, about $1.2 billion, that's probably immediately available, right, for affordable housing purposes. And so you can use that land to generate cash or financing opportunities to build affordable housing or to fund affordable housing in Boston. And there's no reason why you can't use land in Western Mass in conjunction with a town out there and work out a deal with them where you share the use of that land. And then you get money and cash or capital or collateral for financing housing here. And why that's important is because, like, just imagine if you had a rich second, third cousin, twice removed out in Rwanda somewhere that died, and they were like, Corinne, you don't know that I exist, but you're in my will, and you're the one person I want to have my $1 billion in property. And you just ignored it, even when you were in a housing personal crisis. That's what the state is doing. And so I did have a bill that I worked on that, and 2 of the 4 components of that bill did pass through. Those components make it easier for housing authorities in particular and municipalities to take out a loan on the equity in their land or on state-owned land. So that part is good, because right now that's very difficult to do. But the parts that didn't pass, that I was hoping to move in the Senate, are the parts that fast track that equity to the tenants and to the residents and to the community-based developers. And so I hope that the legislature will continue to work on those components, and I'll be seeing who can sort of take up the components. Because what happens is when you're a black intellect, and your intellect comes from being grassroots community, being raised, by street involved, combined with, the sort of MIT, Harvard law school combo that I got, what happens there in the House is that they love to have you participate and collaboratively draft stuff, but anything that's good, they'll just sort of pick what's good for everyone. And then you have to just really fight to get the parts that are targeted at black people or targeted at poor people. And in the Senate, Liz is going to have an immediate leadership position. And so she'll have that fight on an equal playing ground versus being a rank and file. And so anything she wants to know about housing or how that worked, or there are other Senate colleagues that may have interest in leading on this, and I'm sure Liz will fully support if she's not the lead, because you got to let each legislator have their own vision of what they're going to execute. There's so many things that need to be done. But I will continue to try and help in whatever way I can, make sure that the legislature takes advantage of this opportunity. What I found, Corinne, is that most people didn't know about it. And so we created, I'm going to put this on my website, but we created 200 district analysis. So the 160 rep districts and the 40 Senate district. And that enabled every legislator. I only reviewed this with the Senate and House members of the Housing Committee, and maybe with the Chair, Ways and Means, and the Speaker. I can't remember now who all we showed it to. But for your district, we showed how much state-owned land there is, what the proximity is to hospitals and universities, because they can do deals with you where they can sell the tax credits on that land. This is all technical stuff. People are like, people learn the technical pieces. That's where all the supremacy is hiding, not in what we feel at the end. What we feel at the end is mass incarceration. What we feel at the end is people dying at higher rates. What we feel at the end is lower life expectancy. When you go upstream, what's causing all of that is people are hogging the finance opportunities, and it's all hidden. And it's not hidden because there's some sinister guy with a curly mustache trying to hide it from you. It's hidden because it's been built over centuries without us, and now it just operates by itself. There's not anybody over there thinking like, oh, I'm going to hide. When we went to go find out, there were so many different systems for even tracking that land across the Commonwealth that they weren't consistent with each other. And so black people, especially, like, I grew up street. My dad ran the streets. I've said that many times. But when you grow up with somebody who's good at running the streets, you understand economy. Like, you understand buying and selling, and you understand future money versus present money. We just use different terms for it. But these kids that are street involved, many of them have emotional and intellectual intelligence quotients that are off the charts. And when we begin to apply that to this archaic, several hundred-year-old system of finance and housing development, people are going to be like, why didn't we ever do any of that? Well, it's because our people weren't in there analyzing it. And we keep believing the lie, oh, people don't want to hear that. Stop saying that about black people. My grandmother was a librarian at the Martin Luther King Branch Library where I grew up in Columbus, Ohio, before I moved here when I was 17. And I spent a lot of time in there with all the, I thought they were little old ladies, the black ladies that ran that library, but they're actually the age I am now, in their mid to late 40s at the time. But they made sure I understood how to go deep into things and how to develop the vocabulary. But what I learned as a woman here in Boston is not only how to read the mainstream kind of, let's just say, quote unquote, white man vocabulary, but how to take our vocabulary and translate it for everyone. And then when we learn this stuff, people are like, oh, that's common sense. Why aren't we doing that? But what we're taught is, oh, if it worked, we would already be doing it. That's some slave master talk. Okay? If it worked, we would already be doing it. That's why you have to be enslaved. No. They don't want to do anything different because they're fine. They don't know the stuff I'm telling you. Because when I brought it to the different ones, they were like, Rep, this is very useful to me. Not even for what I was trying to do with it. That kind of data, where's the housing poverty? Where is the train and transit with respect to any places that you might develop? How valuable is that land? That type of data, our kids could do that data. Some of the people doing this data for me were 17, 18 years old. Okay. And then some of them are grad students and professors, but we got to elevate our kids' understanding, not just because they need to get out there and grow and build, but because the world needs them. That's what's missing. It's missing us. And so I hope that people will continue to push all of our elected officials to move beyond what you have to have, which is a baseline platform of a few policies that really impact people right now. You can't stop doing that and dealing with the bleeding. That's the cause of all the pain. But to go to the source and to say, what are we learning about how to dismantle supremacy and how the whole thing operates? Because if the thing is cutting off our arms systematically, you're going to be patching up arms for the rest of our lives. And nobody's dealing with the thing that's cutting the arm off. And then the metaphor, the arm is like your home. Okay. So sorry, it's a gruesome, but there's something there that is blocking the development of affordable housing in one of the richest regions of the planet. Okay, and that's what we got to go back and do, and that's what Corinne was getting at.
Right,
Okay,
and thank you
I'm
for
gonna
your
sign
question.
off. Yes, I'm going to sign off. I know that there are other callers. I don't want to stay on, but I'll end with this. You are just an amazing person, mathematical genius. We all, when you say you build leaders that build leaders that build leaders, builds leaders, I think I'm an official leader now. So have an amazing day.
Girl, you came to us. You came to us as a leader. So
I know that's right.
But now you know you are, so that's good.
I just, and I look forward. I know that you will work with Rep. Miranda. I don't know her that well, but I hope that she is open to receiving some of your knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Have a great day.
Thank you, Corinne.
Thank you. What I wanted to ask you, because I still don't understand this, as much work as I have done around housing, working with Maha. Oh, I'm not even going to have time to ask my question because I only have 2 minutes. But how and why does the medium income work the way it works?
Well, it gets set. So first we have the sort of federal standard, and then we set a local standard in Massachusetts. A lot of people think that it doesn't make sense to not have, what she's talking about, y'all, is median income is set for like the state or for a region, but your median income might be a lot lower or a lot higher where you live in your neighborhood in Roxbury. Even across Roxbury, you're going to have pockets. So right now, I represent Mission Hill JP. There's places where the median income is $17,000 and places where it's $170,000. But the median for the whole area comes out around $69,000. In the last census. So if you're basing it on the 69,000, the 17,000 that doesn't apply to them, and the 170 doesn't apply to them. And so we're just behind the times. And so now with technology being what it is, we do have the capacity to be more flexible to what people are actually experiencing. And there's so many things like that, whether we're talking about how car insurance is done or home insurance, that we aggregate things that need to be disaggregated. These are words I want my people to learn. Disaggregate means break it down so it's talking about me. Don't add me up in with people that have nothing to do with me.
Right.
That's what disaggregate means. Have me back. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes,
Boston
definitely.
residents job policy. We didn't get to that.
I know.
I want to
but-
make sure that people understand why that's not working, which is something
Right.
you really helped me to understand on this campaign. And we can make it work. But the way that it's designed right now, it will never work.
Well, we definitely need you because the Boston Employment Commission is definitely looking at meeting not only with the mayor around this, but the unions as well. So we're definitely
Yeah.
going to be asking you to
Have me back. I'll
participate.
write some testimony for y'all.
Okay. All right.
I have to
this is
cite you
it.
in all of it because all my footnotes will go back to Priscilla and to Carolyn Crockett.
That is it. We are out. People Power with Priscilla. Join us next Thursday, same time, same channel. Thank you. Be blessed. We out.